Once again, welcome back to Sustainably Speaking. I'm your host, Allison Tomas, and this episode is for any students or alumni of Loyola University. I interviewed the Student Environmental Alliance, and if you're not familiar with the SEA, you will be after listening to this episode. The SEA, in my opinion, is one of those organizations that people sometimes hear about, but they don't realize how much they do for universities such as Loyola. This interview is a chance to hear the voices behind SEA and all that they do. Who knows? You might consider joining them after this episode.
Well, first off, I'd like to say thank you for having us.
This
is like a whole semester in the making, so thank you for the entire process and help facilitating.
Of course.
My name is Ian Slowey. I'm the head of community partnerships at SEA. I am an environmental policy major.
Nice.
And the reason I got into SEA was because in my sophomore year, I really wanted to get something done within the Loyola community. And I also just want to just get to know the students a little bit more, actually be part of Loyola. So I found the Student Environmental Alliance. I was like, oh, this is right up my alley. And then over the years, and through a sparse time where I was gone for a study abroad program, I eventually became the head of community partnerships right now. So it's been a really cool journey so far.
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
So I'm Clive. I'm the freshman representative of SEA. And so what I mainly try to do is help promote SEA's activities among the freshman student body at Loyola. And so, along with many other students at SEA, I really admired Loyola's commitment to environmental sustainability. And for me, who's someone born here in Chicago, I really want to do anything to help out the city I love.
That is true. Yeah, I love that.
Hi everyone, my name's Anna. I'm a sophomore and I'm studying environmental science and public health. I joined SEA the first semester of my freshman year. Similarly to Ian and Clive, I wanted to join a community, and I found that SEA offered a really wide range of activities, from educational events to attending protests to doing online petitions and letter writing. And I loved how diverse the campaigns were in terms of what it offered. So yeah, it's been a great experience so far, and I'm the DEI campaign co-head.
Awesome. All right, so we'll start off with a simple question. How was SEA started or founded?
Ooh, we're getting some real SEA lore.
This is some vague history. It's you have to go through the scrolls of
let's do it.
Of Cudahy Hall to figure this stuff out. So from what I can tell, it started mostly in the 1970s, maybe 1980s, shortly after the main environmental movement in America started. And it was mostly focused around divestment and focusing on Loyola as an institution and how they approach sustainability. And they've had their own campaigns too, like reducing plastic waste, among other things, trying to find different investment firms that Loyola can invest in so they can become more sustainable. And eventually this came to a head where in the early 2000s, they actually succeeded with the Climate Action Plan 1.0 being created with Loyola. And they basically said, we see you, SEA, we're going to actually make this a real thing, and we're going to actually devote our institution to sustainability. And ever since then, it's kind of just been a reoccurring thing for SEA, where we're trying to make sure Loyola continues to be sustainable, and if they ever need help in the process, we're also there to help guide it. And also we do student facilitation too, so the students know what Loyola is really about at its core when it comes to sustainability. And we just do some fun activities too, sometimes we just have fun little dance events, or other times we have more serious events, as Anna was saying, with protests. So it's really wide and has a lot of variety, but it's been a really decorated history, so to say.
That's really cool. So it's deeply rooted, basically, here, and it's, it's got a lot of importance here, so it's not just, randomly thrown out, which I like that, too. So I know SEA has certain campaigns within it that focus on different initiatives. Would you want to define and explain each?
Yeah, I can take this one a little bit. So SEA, we're split into three main campaigns. So we have Why Waste, which is targeted at reducing different sorts of pollution really on campus. So they do a lot of institutional work and things that you probably will see most of. And then we have LPAC, which stands for Local Policy and Action. So they're the ones that organize if there's a protest with other climate activist groups, we'll attend that, work with groups like Fridays for Future or 350 Chicago. And then we have DEI, or Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. This is our newest campaign, so I think it's only 2 or 3 years old. But the mission of our campaign is to really highlight the voices of marginalized communities who are most impacted by the effects of environmental issues, because we know that the effects of things like climate change aren't distributed equally. So we're really trying to raise awareness about that, and we focus a lot more on educational events with speakers.
We do also a lot of stuff now, especially recently with outreach into the community.
Yeah.
And this even goes beyond Loyola itself now. So we like to partner with external organizations like Sierra Club or maybe sometimes Sunrise Movement.
Okay.
Fridays for Future was our most recent, I believe.
Yeah.
Where we did a little protest in front of the on the Federal Plaza. So what we're trying to do is, especially in the current climate as we are right now, we're trying to make sure there's community solidarity, not just in Loyola, but across Rutgers Park or even in Chicago.
Yeah.
And we're now also looking for more partnership opportunities with the University of Chicago with the Phoenix Initiative.
Oh.
So it's their own version of SEA, basically. They, through some talks with them, they said that they kind of like based their model off of our model. So
That's kind of nice.
so yeah, so it's kind of new to my knowledge, at least at this level.
I like that a lot, actually, because it's more than just you start with the university and then
Yeah.
you kind of broaden it out, and I like that. Obviously, you guys already mentioned all the certain initiatives that you've done and you've completed and whatnot. Do you have any ones for the future? Like, what are the next steps for SEA?
Ooh.
If you're allowed to say, if I'm allowed to leak these.
To my knowledge, we kind of do like to go like on the dime kind of basis sometimes when it comes to this sort of stuff. But with the recent legislation passed by the student government, where you're able to now openly protest in the West Quad, and also like little street protests as well, we're kind of just like trying to be on the ball with everything right now. There's a lot of stuff that's constantly changing and shifting, so we're trying to make sure that we're open and on our feet
Yeah.
to make sure that things do change. But in terms of like events that we plan ahead are typically student events, to my knowledge. So that's more or less what's going on there.
And might be a controversial question, maybe. If you had to change one thing about Loyola and its sustainability, what would you change?
Ooh. This is interesting.
If I can take this one, I think in our ideal world, it's doing something fully that we've tried to do. So something that our Why Waste campaign has done is make like a sustainability handbook for the UNIV classes.
Oh, wow.
But with that sort of curriculum, everyone has to take UNIV, but we cannot mandate that people learn a specific resource that we
Yeah.
create. So we've offered it to people. So we don't know if peer navigators or UNIV professors have taught it, but I would just say that anyone who is at Loyola, all freshmen, like start young, they have to go through a sustainability course that teaches them everything that Loyola offers. Like, do you know how many things SES has for you to do,
Ooh.
take advantage of, composting, better recycling, all of these things. We have a free table. You can get free clothes and school supplies, so many things. Make them learn that, and then also just teach them the core of what is environmental justice. Because as the DEI, one of the heads of that campaign, it's really important to me, and I think a lot of people, once they learn about environmental justice, that's what gets them more involved in sustainability, and they kind of connect with it a little bit more. So making sure everyone learns that first week that they're here.
All right, I have one last question. And it's more straying away, I guess, from the club itself, but more individually, to kind of get a more sense of just, I guess, the people who run this club, you know what I mean? So do each of you have a small thing that you guys like to do in your personal lives that contributes to, I guess, sustainability?
One thing I like to do is that I like to think about the kind of waste that I have, because we live essentially in a consumer society. So
Yeah.
for stuff like soap, think about this, every single shampoo or body wash, like soap that you've had in your shower, if it was a plastic bottle, is still around. It's still there, and it's
Oh.
somewhere. Or like a wrapper they ate from a Hershey's bar one day, still around somewhere. Maybe it's in the dirt. Maybe it's in a landfill. Maybe it's in a different country now. You don't know.
Wow.
And so thinking about this, I usually go like, okay, so what do I want to buy, and is the packaging sustainable?
Yeah.
So, for instance, a lot of stuff I do, especially for like showering and stuff, is that I get soap bars
Yes.
typically.
Yep.
So that's one thing I do. I get soap bars. There's also ones for shampoo and conditioner, which are really good. by
They're
the
actually
way.
really good for you, I think.
Yeah, and so that's one thing I do. Or like if it's sweets like candy or whatnot, I try to see like, oh, is there like paper packaging? Because some of them do have paper packaging, and if
Yeah.
not, there's always ice cream, which comes in
Yeah.
cardboard packaging usually. So that is a little more sustainable. And I guess it's basically just more of like an individual, oh, what do I buy, and how will this small action, as it seems
Yeah.
to me, will affect other things in the future, is
Yeah.
the way I think about it.
I like that.
I mean, what I've tried to be more active in is like attending community meetings, but also like advocacy organizations like not only the Sierra Club, but also Better Street Chicago, and help promoting essentially like safe like third places for children to help like prosper, and having like space to like connect with each other.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything said. I think I always try to think about my personal waste and what I can do to reduce that. I love thrifting and kind of vintage shopping. I think that's a really easy way for people to get involved, because it doesn't really feel like you're losing something. You're kind of gaining something because you find new pieces, and fast fashion is a really, really big problem, and it's a really easy way to kind of look at your own consumption and say, do I really need this? Maybe I can borrow from a friend or, do a clothing swap. Something like that is great. I also recently saw some other environmentalists say this, but instead of perpetuating this idea of the human nature binary, humans have our own world and nature's the outside, and what are we doing to protect the outside? We think of it as like a bigger system, like one connected, interconnected system. Humans are part of the environment. So to take care of the environment, take care of your own mental health, spend more time outside. When you're spending more time outside, when you're going on the beach, you're going on a walk, like people feel happier. I love when people are like in Chicago, they're like, seasonal depression is a thing because when it's 50 degrees, I'm like skipping around outside my dorm because it's so nice. And that's why I love spring, because I think a lot of people, like, that's why I'm like, everyone should be an environmentalist because you love better weather. So I think taking care of yourself and spending more time outside, that just builds a bigger appreciation, and that helps with everything.
I absolutely love that. I really do. And that pretty much sums up, I guess, everything that I wanted to cover. And I appreciate you guys coming down over here to like the city and whatnot to record this. And I really appreciated all of your inputs on this stuff and taking the time to spend some time with me on this. So thank you guys a lot.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for doing all this.
Yeah, of course. That was the Student Environmental Alliance. Are you feeling pretty motivated? Do you want to join? I think you do. So here are some ways to find them. You can find them through their Instagram, through LUC Community, and even the School of Environmental Sustainability has a bulletin that gives you details on what their next events are. As always, I will be linking their socials in the description and on my Instagram. That was episode 5 of Sustainably Speaking. Thank you once again for listening. My name is Allison Tomas, and I'll see you next time.